I want to, again, bring such important information to the table this morning, and it's why I enjoy coming out here every day, because while I'm learning, you're also learning, and we get a chance to not only get details about interesting products and stuff that can impact your life, but also we get a chance to touch in on the history. Now, there's a building. It's located at the corner of Queen and Shackle Street, right there in Port of Spain, an iconic building. That building was built back in 1930, and it's the home of the TBLA, which was established, hear this, back in 1891. So it's a company that's been around for a long time, an establishment that's been around for a long time. And the building itself is an iconic building, and we get more details concerning that from their CEO, Chief Executive Officer, Christopher Lewis, who joins me on the set. And again, it's an important conversation. This is to deal with the Trinidad Building and Loan Association, again known as the TBLA. Mr. Lewis, great to see you. Congrats, my friend. Congrats.
Good morning.
Historic. Good morning. And from what I understand, it's now a heritage site, the building itself.
That's correct. The association was established in 1891.
Wow.
The building was built in 1930, and it was declared a heritage site about 2 years ago by the National Trust.
And it's one where many people will pass and sometimes not even know what's going on in the building.
That's correct.
And that's why we're here this morning, to have that conversation. Just give us some brief details before we get into some of the specifics as to the role and function of the TBLA.
So the Trinidad Building and Loan Association, established in 1891, its core functions were to provide mortgages for people to build their homes through their investments. So we are really a financial institution that provides investment products as well as mortgage products. And we use that investment to help people build their homes, and the same with their returns, they build for the homes.
So I'm looking at the flyer there on screen, and I'm seeing subscription shares. What is a subscription share?
All right, so a subscription share is actually one of our signature investment products. A share is worth $20 with a face value of $5,000. When I say a face value, it means there is a maturity of that share. So every month you invest $20, after 10 years or so, you get $5,000. And all you get in return of almost 30% on your investment. But it's not a short-term invest today, get it back tomorrow. You have to look at it as a long-term, and hence the reason why the value is also so low. So it's affordable to demand on the street.
And I guess that is what in essence makes this particular product so unique.
That's correct. It's not an investment you have to find $5,000, $10,000 right away. $100 a month, $200 a month, something that you can afford, but you're not going to want to take it back right away. So you're going to look for it in the long term as an investment.
And when we consider the long term, when are in terms of the dividends, people will study, hey, when is dividends being paid out?
So dividends on subscription shares are paid twice for the year. It's paid on June the 30th and on December 31st. And that dividend actually is compounded into your share value, which helps break to your maturity value.
Is there any kind of limit as to what someone can put in, or into what they can acquire from this particular investment?
Limits are usually set by the board of directors. Typically, you would find we have people with up to $2,500 per month investing. It depends on what's your disposable income. But in terms of the number of shares that you can hold, that will be set by the board of directors.
And this is a scenario where folks looking on this morning, it piques their, you've piqued their interest. You could literally walk in and just start the process.
That's correct. It's a simple process. Walk in, one of our officers will interview you and sign you up. It's not a very difficult, stringent need house and land to invest.
Yeah. And in terms of the length of time for the subscription to mature, just walk me through from your vantage point, your experience, what you would have witnessed thus far.
So typically it takes between 10 to 12 years for the subscription share to mature. There's a few factors that go into what leads to the maturity. You have the amount that you invest, as well as the dividends that are paid in June and December. Historically, dividends can range between 5% to 10%. Within the last 3 years, we have paid out 5% dividends each year. Actually, for this year so far, we had an interim dividend of 2.5% in June, and we had an instance of a special dividend also being paid.
Most important, because folks looking on, they hear of a financial institution, they're thinking, you know what, loan. Could I get a loan based on the shares that I put there? You know, I've taken up the subscription share. It's bubbling nice.
Right.
You know what, I want to make an investment. I'm seeing an opportunity to go at something. Could I come and say, you know what, I want to get a loan based on the shares?
Yeah, so share loans are one of our lending products. What we do with the share loans, you can get up to a certain percentage of your investment value at that time. You continue to pay your share loan, you continue to pay your shares as well, and the beauty about it is that when the share mature, you still get back your shares once you have completed the share loan payment.
You know, when it comes to financial institutions, you know, there's sometimes the pre-assessment, certain requirements. Is that something necessary when stepping forward? For
a share loan, for a subscription share, not necessarily, but we do have all the AML, FIU requirements that we have to go through, so know your customer rules, etc. So we require those types of documents, your job letters, your pay slips, as well as your proof of address and all those other requirements. But it's a simple process. Our investment officers will actually walk you through to ensure that you meet the criteria.
So let's say you put shares down for your child. You have a young one. People like to put a little something for the child. They might end up in a little spot. Could I take a little loan based on the shares for somebody in the family?
So usually for those types of shares, it's called interest. And those are actually for the child. The child has control over that when they reach the age of 18. So typically you won't get a loan on an interest account.
Okay.
But if there's an account in your name, you will be entitled to that loan.
You know, what we're hearing here, it's piquing so many people this morning. I'm sure, again, many will know the building. You know of the particular space. You might have seen the name, but you're hearing firsthand as to the type of business and what's at stake, what's at play, what's in terms of the products available. How do we contact you all? Give me all the information, the numbers, the online, and probably a little name we could go and ask for when we step in.
All right, so our contact number is 623-1501 or 623-1504. You can also find us on www.tblamortgages.com. You can also email us at info@tblamortgages.com. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook at TBLA Queen Street or Trinidad Building and Loan Association on Facebook.
You know, as a CEO, I want to ask you on a personal note, what makes it that, in terms of being there and the staff, you know, what gets you up in the morning and you say, you know what, I'm going to clearly go out there and make a difference today? What was that driving force for you on a personal note?
The driving force is seeing customers satisfied, seeing customers achieve their life goals. One of the mandates of the TBLA is to actually help customers achieve their life goals, put people in a home, people investing. For example, we have people, every month we're paying out mature shares. It depends on how many shares mature. We had a customer lately, she would have invested $100 a few years ago, and $25,000 she collected on her mature shares. And she was so happy because it came just at the time that she needed it to buy books for her child. So just seeing that customers getting that reward for their investments, and also putting people in their homes, owning their first home, closing a mortgage also brings joy. That's, you know, actually getting a key to your home and owning your own home rather than renting and so on. It really, the joy in bringing to customers' face really drives us. I mean, our staff is very competent. They love to deal with customers as well. The same drive, same passion.
You know, making a difference, and that's what you do. And I want to say congrats in advance and continued salutations for the work being done. And before we wrap things up, working in such an iconic building, a building that you said 2 years ago, given that approval by the National Trust, this is a heritage site. So it means this building cannot be removed. They can't do any kind of alterations to it. It's one that's one of the originals in the city, right? Built in 1930, by the way. That's nearly 100 years ago. And of course, TBLA around since 1891. Walk me through, is the building, I know the outside seems to be very much pristine, original. What's happening inside? Inside
the ground floor, it's still also pristine and original, same colonial look. with the National Trust, and because it's a National Heritage Site, we have to preserve the exterior look as well as the ground floor look.
Must be a good feeling working in such a historic building.
Yes.
Any last words, any, again, message you want to mention as we look to wrap things up this morning?
Yeah, they can reach us at 623-1501, 623-1504, email us at info@tblamortgages.com. We'll definitely have a customer service rep reach out to them, or a mortgage officer, an investment officer reach out to them, and they'll be willing to actually help you out with your investments.
For sure. Thank you so much. Again, the Trinidad Building and Loan Association, and we just heard from their CEO, Mr. Christopher Lewis, giving us all the details. And remember, you're asking for the subscription share, and the staff will lead you through and walk you through your investment. Mr. Lewis, thank you for the time.
Thanks for having me.
We take a quick one. We come back. See you soon.